But if you really love me, where's the follow through? You're making moves, every weekend with your friends in Malibu. You think that I'm waiting round for you to lift me up and let me down. But if I'm not everything you need, like the air you breathe, then you should leave, 'cause I'm not making.
This is my first YouTube channel, so I'm a little nervous, but at the same time I'm ready to do this. I know I've been putting this on for years and years and years and years, and a lot of you have been asking me tons of questions, been in my DMs, and I just said it wasn't the right time or right place. And normally I've been fighting my brain saying, yes, I want to do this, and then there's times I'm like, no, I don't want to do this, because I know by doing this I'm gonna open myself to a whole different broadcast of people, questions, and stuff that I really don't want to get into. But at the same time, I feel like people have been waiting for me to express things, say things, share my story, and here I am in my hotel room ready to share. The last few weeks have been a little bit crazy, so a lot of things have been going through my mind, and certain things that I want to talk about, but at the same time I said I would never talk about, but at the same time I want to talk about it. So I'm here just debating. I'm like, is this a good idea? So I figured I might as well go with one video and then see where it goes from there. And then from there, if I like it, I'm going to continue to do it. I know a lot of people have known me from hanging out with Bad Girls, or being in the Bad Girl franchise, or watching the show and being on other people's YouTube talking about the show, and how I've bonded and become friends with some of the girls. So I'm going to share my story on that aspect for sure. I'm going to tell you which girls I really liked, which girls I probably wouldn't want to hang out with again. But yeah, this first one's going to be about the Bad Girls Club, how I got introduced to the whole club, and yeah, basically my experience. I'm not going to go into full detail with everything on this video, but as the further I get, I will share more, I will open up, I will tell you about my stories and my personal experiences with some that were fun, some were crazy, some were wild, and some I absolutely do not like and never would want to be around them or see them again. But yeah, one year I was, I don't know, it was the early 2000s. I was coming home from who knows what. My crazy self was probably coming home from a bar, and my roommate was inside the living room. And as I walked in, I was like, what the hell are you watching? It was just these girls fighting. And I thought to myself, I'm like, why is he watching this? This is trash. And literally there was one girl that I was watching, and I was just like, oh my God, I'm like, she reminds me a lot like me. And so I started staying tuned, and then I started watching every week on the episodes, and it was season 2 with Tanisha's cast, and the only reason I'm saying her is because she was the biggest cast member and the biggest bad girl in Bad Girl history. So I saw season 2, and I was like, who is this girl? She reminded me a lot like me. So as I started watching more and more, I got excited about this show and this franchise. The person you guys are not even gonna still to this day, I'm like, how the hell was this me at one point? This girl was me as a guy. The one girl that stood out to me the most was Darlene, and for those of you that know, in season 2, Darlene was, well, she was my favorite at that time. So she was a hot mess. She was a ride or die. She didn't care, but she would also be a trash talker. She would get in people's face. She would have her friends back, even though they probably treated her like shit, but she still was there, and a ride or die friend. And it kind of reminded me of me, because I was kind of lost too at that time, and I was drinking, and I was in bar brawls and doing almost the similar stuff as her, as she did on her season for season 2. And that's what really hooked me into the Bad Girls Club. As I watched the season more and more and more until the end, and season 2, I was just like, oh great, that was great. And then my roommate was like, well, that was season 2, there's probably going to be in season 3. And I was like, oh my God, what was season 1? So unfortunately, I've never seen season 1. I've tried many times to go back and watch season 1, but it's just bits and pieces. So if any of you guys know where to find season 1, let me know, because I would like to watch the actual full season, because I've never seen season 1. Out of all 17 Bad Girls Club, season 1's the only Bad Girls Club franchise that I did not watch. So I know everyone talks about these iconic girls from season 1, and I've seen the bits and pieces on YouTube, but I've never seen the actual full season. So if y'all know, let me know where to find that. I would be excited to watch that. But as for season 2, it's funny because all the fan favorites that people liked, I didn't really like. I don't know what it was, but Darlene reminded me, she was like a Latina girl. Like, she was just ride or die. She was a hot mess. She was drunk 24/7. She got in fist fights. I was like, that was me. Like, I was just like, wow, I really relate to this girl. And I mean, I follow her now and I'm still like, wow, like such a change of when she first started to now. But she still has it in her. I mean, I love her. I mean, good for her. But as the time went on, I waited for season 3. I was so excited to see season 3. And when season 3 actually finally, like, you know, the promos, like, it was so big to watch the promos and wait for the final week, and they would show you little clips and you're like, oh my god, this season's gonna be good. And I really didn't know who I was gonna like on that season. So like season 3 came and I was like, oh my god, this is like gonna be intense. Like, I can't believe I'm hooked onto something, because like normally I don't pay attention very often, so like if I watch something, it really has to pull me in. And I think Bad Girls Club is one of a few many shows that have drawn me in, where I can actually watch season after season after season without getting bored. I mean, there were some seasons where I'm like, I can't believe I'm watching this, but in the earlier seasons, as an OG Bad Girl alumni fan, it was iconic. As the later it got a little too messy for me. But long story short, I was watching season 3 when it premiered. And I was like, oh my god, like, this looks like a fun, hip, like, cute little cast. And I was so excited. And like, watching it from the beginning, I'm like, oh my god, like, Kayla KC, I fucking love her. Like, she is a badass. And I just liked her. And then as the show went on and progressed, I was just like, okay, maybe I don't like her because of the things she did. And then I fell in love with Amber M. Cookie, aka Cookie, from season 3. So as I started getting more invested into season 3, I would come every week to watch it. I never missed an episode. I mean, at that time, you'd have to be there at that time to watch the specific episode. You couldn't DVR it, or whatever you call it, record it, and you'd have to be there and watch it at that time to watch the episode. Sometimes the week before, they would have the later episode from last week before the episode, so you could get 2 in a row, but at that time, you could not record it. So, as I grew more of a fan of this franchise, I realized, like, I freaking love Amber M. She was just ditzy. She was a bad girl in such a different way. She wasn't like what you think of a bad girl was. But then when you watch the whole season, you're like, oh, she's a different kind of bad girl, which I totally loved. But the one thing that got me really hooked, and this is where I became a diehard fan, is when they were in Cancun, Mexico, and they jumped Amber M, and I was so furious. I literally wanted to jump through the screen. So at this time of when the show was airing, MySpace was popular. We didn't have Instagram, we didn't have Facebook. So I hopped on MySpace, I went to look for her, and I literally sent her a message. I said, Amber, I was like, you are so lucky I wasn't there in Mexico, because I would have had your back. I would have broke it up. I'm so upset for what you had to go through. I was furious. And I was so mad, and I just wanted to jump through the screen and show these girls a lesson. But then at the same time, I'm like, I've never hit a girl or I've been disrespected a girl. So like, I was wild and crazy back in the day, but I would never think to this day like I would ever put my hands on a girl. But like, seeing that, I was just like, oh my god, this poor girl. And after she got beat and then she's in the hotel crying, I like, literally my heart fell for her. And I felt like, oh my god, I really want to know this girl. I really want to reach out. And I did. So I did on MySpace. I said, hey girl, I just want to let you know I'm a huge fan. I just want to say it was wrong for what had happened to you. And I felt so bad. And literally within the same day, she responded to me, and I said, oh my god. I remember I was sitting in my living room, and I was with my roommate at the time, and I started jumping and screaming, and I was like, Amber from the Bad Girls Club season 3 just texted me back or messaged me back. I was so excited. And then she was saying, thank you so much, thanks for the support. And from there, we just like always messaged each other, and I always checked in on her, and she would check in on me. And one day, she was hosting an event in Phoenix, Arizona. I lived in LA, so I'm born and raised in LA. So she said, hey, I'm hosting this event in Phoenix. It was like a sexy lingerie party, and she's like, I think you should come. And I was like, shut up. LA is only 5 hours from Phoenix. So I'm like, started thinking about it. I'm like, I know my friend would definitely be down for a road trip. He loves Bad Girls Club. So my friend James and I got in the car, and I think my roommate Erin, I think she went too. Yeah, she did too. So we did a road trip, and we went all the way to Phoenix, Arizona to meet Amber. And not only was she hosting in this beautiful mansion in Phoenix, Arizona, but she was accompanied with Amber Buell. What the hell was that? Okay, someone might be eavesdropping, and they dropped all their stuff, so now I know they're listening. But anyways, so Amber was hosting this big lingerie party. It was like lace and leather and big mansion party in Phoenix, Arizona. So I ended up doing a road trip with my roommate and one of my best friends at the time, and we got there, and like literally when she came, she was so tiny, she was so small, she was so petite, and I'm like, oh my god, this is Amber from the Bad Girls Club. And I was so excited, and my roommate and my friend, we were so excited, and like she was so bubbly, she was so sweet, she was so nice, and it was just surreal to meet someone that I watched on TV, because I never was like a diehard fan for anyone until this. And then she comes up to me, and she's giving me a hug, and we're like talking, and we're like having the time of our lives, and she's like, let's go get drinks. I have to be up on stage. We're going to do this and this and this. And like literally it was like I was her friend for a long time. I felt like she was like a great host. I'm like, she's hosting a party, but also hosting random people that she met online, and she was amazing. So then she walks me over, and then we see Amber Buell, and I was like, oh my god, it's Amber Buell. Like, I'm so nervous because I don't know how I feel about her. And she literally walked up to us, and she gave a look where I was just like, oof, I don't know how this is going to be, because I don't think she's like nice. And I was like very nervous, and she just was very intimidating in the beginning. I was just like, god damn, like, is she gonna be a bitch to me, or is she gonna be nice? Like, I have no idea what's to come. And literally, like, you could tell she had her walls up. She wasn't the friendliest, and you could tell she was like that. What are you doing around my friend? And I need to watch you, because I don't know what your process and thoughts are with my friend. So like, I get it. She was being a very like territorial friend, but at the same time, she was just basically monitoring myself and my friends to see what we were all about. And it's crazy, because as the night went on, she started letting her guard down, and she started becoming fun. And I was like, oh my god, thank god, because I really thought we were gonna have an issue, and then I really thought that was gonna mess up a friendship for Amber and I. But then Amber B started having fun, she let her walls down, and finally I was like, this is what I actually liked. I mean, I loved her on the show, but there were certain things that definitely irked me on the show. But as a person, as the years went by, I actually love Amber B, and there's a way other side that you will never see other than what they shown on TV. She's a sweet, sweet, sweet girl. She's learned a lot. She's come a long way. So like, they were all young at the time. A lot of these girls were young, brainwashed, didn't know what was going on in their life, and now it's like, to know them from then to now, they're so beautiful, and a lot of them have trauma and a lot of pain, but at the same time, they're human. Like, we all go through that, and I love a lot of these girls like my sisters. But long story short, in Phoenix, we had a great time. Amber hosted, well, both of the Ambers hosted. I have pictures. I'm probably going to insert them right here and show you guys basically the night of the party. So I have these pictures in my Facebook, but they are on lock. I've never shown them because I'm just like so embarrassed because I'm in this leather like harness and boots, and I look so different. I'm like, yeah, no, I don't even know why I'm probably going to share these, but I'm going to. But yeah, it was an exciting party. And I'm going to show you guys the pictures. So yeah, just wait for those. I'll upload those as well. But long story short, we get back to LA. Amber I think they lived in Phoenix at the time, or Arizona, because that's why they were hosting out there. But they were hosting a lot of different clubs and venues, but like not in LA. So Phoenix was the closest one that I got to meet Amber. But long story short, we became really good friends. And then Amber moved to LA, and I helped her move into her Hollywood home. And then one year my lease was up, Amber needed a roommate, and that's how we became roommates, and we became best friends. And Amber probably was like one of the best friends I've ever met from the Bad Girls Club, and who's been a ride or die, such a sweetheart. And she goes out of her way for anyone, like even like as a stranger for me. Like she didn't know who I was, she took me off the street, she trusted me, and then we became like best friends. And I really appreciate her, and I really appreciate everything she's done for me. And now she's living this beautiful life with her husband, and she has 2 kids, and I'm very happy for her. And as well as Amber Buell, she has a beautiful husband and 1 kid, I believe. I haven't talked to her in a long time, but I do follow her on social media, so I think she's doing well with her family. So I'm happy for her. Once in a while we'll text or message each other, but I haven't kept in touch with her as I do with Amber. But Amber is the reason why I've been involved in the Bad Girl Club, and I've met so many bad girls from the franchise because of her. And I've attended so many parties, hostings, you name it, I was there with Amber. Parties in the hills, special events, and when they had premiere nights, like I would go to all the Bad Girls Club filmings. I was on season 4 with Amber's. I didn't get aired much. There was one part they did use it as a commercial and promo, and it looked like Amber Buell and I were making out. I have that picture as well on my Facebook, which I have to find. It's in the archive as well. I'll show you guys that as well. I was on season 4, but we got on season 4. We were filming when they were doing the air balloon, the air guitar thing. But at this point, most of the cast was already sent home. So I didn't really get to meet like Natalie, Kate, Flo. I don't remember who else. Portia. It's been so long, like I feel like I have to refresh my memory, like especially if I'm going to start doing these YouTube videos, because I need to remember girls and what season they were on, because there's like hundreds of them now. But yeah, I was there for season 4 filming. I was on one of the commercials, and it says Bad Girls Club with me and Amber, and it looks like we are making out, but we're actually just dancing against a wall in a club. But yeah, I have so much history with the Bad Girls. I'm going to slowly release things and talk about it. And I know you guys are going to be like asking more questions because I'm opening up this door, which I'm happy to answer. But there's certain things I will not answer. I will not talk about. There's certain girls like that I will not talk about because I love them to death, or certain things that they've been through, or what I've been through, or what we've been through. Like I'm not going to talk about everything, but I will talk as much as I can. Just to respect the girls as well as they respect me, and we respect each other. Like I said, the show was years ago. A lot of them have PTSD, trauma, and a lot of them have emotional attachments to the show that still bring a dark, sad energy to them. And I've always been there as a big brother to lift them up, and as well as them. Like they've helped me out so much in my life and been there for me, and I greatly appreciate a lot of these girls. But yeah, like the more I want to open up and talk about seasons and girls, like I'm excited about this, but I'm also hesitant because there are certain ones I don't want to talk about because we don't have a good history. I don't really want to talk about them because I don't want bad blood or back and forth on social media because I don't do any of that. Like, I'll just ignore it. I'll read it and I'll probably like it, but that's about it. But yeah, like, this journey was one of my favorite things in my life to meet a bad girl, and the way she has opened doors up for me and the way she's been there for me long term and showed me the whole club and the girls and like opened up a new lifestyle for me. And I really appreciate Amber for doing that for me. But yeah, I'll get into season 4 behind the scenes. I've done a lot of reunions. I've been to reunions. Fun fact, I've been at a lot of reunions, and now I could probably talk about it, but back then I couldn't. But I originally was the one taking pictures behind the reunion, taking pictures of certain things while filming these shows, and I would send them to BGCT, and I'm the reason why BGCT blew up. Well, there's a couple reasons, but I am the number one major reason that BGCT got a lot of the photos, a lot of the behind the access stuff. So at the time we couldn't talk about it, we couldn't say our names because we didn't want to get in trouble. And I helped this page grow. And at first I loved the BGCT page. I'm not gonna lie, like, I loved giving them all the info. I loved showing behind the scenes. But then it got to a point where BGCT was just posting negative stuff about these girls, and then I started feeling really bad because my thing was I wanted to promote the show. I wanted to promote these girls. I wanted to show them at their best of the best, but BGCT wanted to do stuff differently. They wanted to cause drama, which I get it. They wanted to hurt girls. They wanted to take girls down, and that wasn't my motive of why I wanted to help BGCT grow. And when I first got into this whole social media thing, there was 2 pages. It was BGCT and another page. The other page, I told him, if I get you all this stuff, like, you have to help me out with my social media and help me grow. And he said, absolutely not. So I was like, okay, well then you're not getting all the content that I'm going to give you. BGCT was nice enough, and he said, yes, I will help you out. I would give you promo. I will shout you out. I would do this. I would try to get your followings growing, which he did. And I appreciate that. But at the same time, I didn't like where it was going with the girls and the direction that it ended up going towards the end. But at the same time, when I met the guy that was doing BGCT, he lived in Europe. So it was hard for us to align because he was on a whole different time zone than I was. So a lot of the time we would be talking, it would be like days later. And then he ended up meeting someone else that helped him run the account that lived, I want to say, in Louisiana, and they started helping him on the US time. So that's when it started getting 2 people. And I think that's when BGC started changing, because the second person was more about this and that, opposed to what I really wanted the BGCT page to be about. And so what ended up happening was I just stopped giving them content. I definitely DM'd them and said, listen, you can't be tearing this person down. I'm like, I want you to uplift this person, especially if they were going through hard times. Like, they pushed it out there, showing their weak, vulnerable side. And I'm like, no, this is the time to show their strength and show them, you know, being a better person. Not like, it was just like nonstop of beating on these girls, and I didn't like that. So that's why I took a step back from the BGC page, and I ended up not giving them stuff. I mean, there were certain things I have information on, and like we have DMs and all that. I'm sure a lot of them, if I go through, are probably erased now because they don't want them to know that all these traces of what I was giving or what I was saying, because I didn't want it to be a certain way. But yeah, I stopped talking to them, and they're a huge reason. Well, I'm a huge reason why they were so successful, because I gave them behind the scenes. I gave them the reunions. I gave them the girls' looks. I told them what was happening at the reunions. That was basically all me. And another bad girl, I don't want to release her name because you never know if she's going to get blackballed because she was in on this with me, but I'm not going to say names, but she definitely helped me out as well. And yeah, so as the more comfortable I get, the more I feel like I will talk about things. Like right now, I'm so dehydrated, but I also want to drink, but I also probably need water because I've just been talking so much. This is a lot of time consuming energy. I need to get a microphone because obviously I'm sure the quality is not going to be great. I'm in a hotel, so I'm using my phone light to be like a ring light. The lighting's not that great in here. But yeah, I have a lot of things to learn and still do. I watch a lot of YouTubers, like especially when they were doing the BGC culture, like Justin J. I was a big fan. I used to watch all his stuff. I would be on some of his actual YouTube videos, and we would talk about certain girls or like certain episodes that I had such a great time with him. He's so talented. I wish he would come back, but you know, gotta let him live his life. I mean, maybe this was great for him then, but now he's just like, he's over it. But I've always supported him. Who else do I follow? There's a few. I mean, I have to look into it. I literally should have done my research before I got on here. But, you know, I'm still learning. I'm still an amateur. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm still trying to figure out, like, even see, like, my camera battery's dying. So I probably have to go. But, yeah, stay tuned. I have a lot to talk about. This is just the beginning. I promise you I'm going to get more videos out, more content. And yeah, so stay tuned. Let's talk soon. If you have any questions, please DM me. Follow me on Instagram, radjeeper, RADJEEPER. My initials, Randy Angel Delcourt, jeeper.com. So radjeeper. On Instagram, and then yeah, give a like, a follow, and thank you guys for listening. And I promise I will be better and start uploading and answer your questions. But yeah, thank you guys so much. I am out.